please welcome Anita Sarkeesian.
How wide is this room? And then there are the misogynist.
Yeah, I wonder how many are actually Asian or black or Hispanic or any other nationality or ethnicity.
As you already know, apparently. So I run an educational nonprofit organization called Feminist Frequency.
Non-profit. And then every time he rambles out about the pay for years, he gets 150K. Non-profit, sure.
And as part of that project, I host an ongoing series of long-form video essays on YouTube analyzing the representations of women in popular video games. Now, video games are kind of a big deal these days. Gaming is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
In these first seconds, she only shows off all the, let's say, slutty women, but nothing like, I don't know, Lara Croft or FemShep. That's kind of telling.
Yeah, she's never really talked about those games.
With an enormous impact on our large.
She's never really talked about those games because they sort of destroy her narrative of what it means to be a woman in video games because, oh, they're bad, the tropes are bad. But they're not actually bad because she made that disclaimer at the first video she ever made that there's nothing good or bad about tropes except they're problematic.
If something is problematic, then why is it not bad?
Well, you could find a problem with the trope, let's say a Deus Ex Machina trope, and you say, well, I don't think that's a good trope, but there are many issues with it in the narrative or in the plot. You could say that you feel something's not right about it based on your own personal interpretation.
Right, but as an identification, it's perfectly fine.
It's just a pattern. Tropes are not stereotypes. This is one thing I think she screwed up in her definition of what a trope is. If you go to the tvtropes.org, the first page, it says what a trope is, and it says they're not stereotypes because stereotypes have a negative connotation, and it's supposed to be an interesting part of humanity, of experience. So I don't know. She took a negative vibe with all these female depictions.
Yeah, and not only that, some of these tropes that I've created one myself, by the way, and when I see a trope, I'm like, this is just something that occurred within the story, a pattern, just a small detail like the "my God, what have I done" moment, or just a type of physical or character transformation that occurs within the story that have been done through some dramas, through some comedy stories. So even when you say like there are bad tropes, the vast majority are just storytelling pieces and have nothing to do with women or women gender stuff. It's also kind of telling.
Well, the issue I have just off the bat is the title, Tropes versus Women. There are no tropes.
There's no conflict. Yeah, you mean like there's no conflict between the women and the tropes.
They're not against each other. This is just, this is just a pattern. There's nothing negative. You could say the Mary Sue is negative in certain contexts, but then that's not the idea of the trope. That's an instance of the trope. There's a difference between the token type. This is a very basic first-year philosophy idea where you talk about the class, and then you talk about the instantiation of the class in programming. That's called the object. So, you're getting specific, then context matters, and she, as we know, takes away context. Anyway, let's keep going.
Larger cultural landscape. What you may not know is that gaming and gaming communities are currently undergoing a massive paradigm shift. The cultural, political, and economic structures of the medium are in the process of fundamentally transforming. While women have always played and made games, for several decades the industry catered almost exclusively to a straight, white, male demographic.
All right, and in this part I want you to edit something. I want you to edit first the Kinect Animals trailer in, then the Wii Fit and some other games for girls. And then there's one part I want to say also. Isn't it weird that feminists complain when there is a group of products targeted at women because it's too girly, and when it isn't, they say they're excluded?
Well, I've never seen any males complain about Barbie's Dream House. There's no proper representation of men in those games.
Yeah. Ken, I should go and make a video complaining about how Ken is misgendered.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this means because it's like any other art form. They're going to cater to a certain audience. There's all kinds of movie genres. Obviously, I don't expect to have a comedy sketch in a slasher flick. I don't expect to see that. You might get little moments of comedy, but this is why we have genres. This is why we have certain types of media for certain types of people. So maybe there is an imbalance of too many males in the gaming industry. But that does not preclude that, because we cater to men, it must also cater to women. There's no reason for this.
But what I also said earlier, if there are stuff that is catered to women, it's instantly misogynistic because it puts women in a box. So either way is bad.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
This is no longer the case. The new reality is that gaming is becoming a more diverse and inclusive environment for everyone. That metamorphosis is happening slowly and sometimes painfully, but it's happening. This is great news. However, I'm here today to share a little bit about the phenomenon of very vocal, aggressive, mostly male gamers who are unwilling or unable to accept this new reality.
Who cares? Who really? If they can't accept it, it's coming anyway. Whoop-de-doo. What does she care?
I see nobody care about Candy Crush or anything. Maybe it's just some people care about microtransactions, but I have nobody I've ever known care about that there are new audiences. Okay, let them. We just have our own tabletop games. Let them have their own fun.
Yeah, it's like Japanese manga. There's a manga for everyone. Doesn't matter what age group, doesn't matter what genre. There's going to be something for everyone. Obviously, there's some more in the younger ages because there's more of them reading books. They like to read them as opposed to older people or younger people. That's it. Who cares? Good for them.
Reactionary response can only be described as a massive and terrifying assault directed at the female fans, developers, and critics who feel they are destroying games. I imagine they feel something like this.
Where the video games? I can't breathe.
Actually, I need to give her credit because we only care about that feeling when they are imposing their own little social justice values upon our games, like they did with Steve Cortez and his gay romance in Mass Effect 3, and making gay bisexual.
Yeah, well, that's part of the lore, and we know BioWare's catering to a certain demographic. Come hell or high water, they're going to throw crap in there. And that's the problem with destroying a franchise. Now, that's just one company. We're talking about other things here. She thinks that clip from Fresh Prince of the thief stealing all the stuff from the, where are my macho games going to be? I'm going to tell her right now, they aren't going away. I don't know who thinks like this, but social justice warriors, feminists, they are on the low end of the clientele for BioWare, for AAA title companies. They're there, but they don't really, who cares? They're like, what, 5% maybe, tops? It comes down to who is going to buy this game? Who is our clientele? It's going to be males. It's going to be older gentlemen, 20, 30 years old, roughly. I think that's the main demographic. That's it. I mean, yeah, women will play these games, but not as many. So it's going to cater to men mostly. And that's totally normal within lore, within reality. How many men in the United States, in comparison to women, are part of the military? The ratio, I think, is like something like 92, 97% to. It's really high. And there are very good reasons for that. So, again, not seeing a problem.
So, as some of you may already know, my video series exploring topics such as the damsel in distress has been met with critical acclaim and positive responses from gamers and developers alike. But it has also been accompanied by a fair amount of anger.
No, everything that is positive is very positive, but everything else is anger. There is no such thing as debate, or I think don't agree with this. No, that's just anger and misogyny. But we'll get more of that. Be prepared for pain.
That's me with, you can't see because it's so bright in here, but I have like glowing red eyes. In fact, over the last 2 years, I've been made into something of a folk demon by some very angry men, especially those that hang out on certain parts of Reddit and 4chan. They have figurative.
We're talking about the entire internet, honey, not just a bunch of message boards, okay? We've been saying these things, well, I haven't, but we, as a collective who know better, have been saying this stuff for several years now. There have been countless YouTube videos, blog posts. This is nothing new. And if she's unaware of this, then she's really ignorant or just doesn't care.
Or maybe she knows about it, and she's just excluding the fact because, 4chan is bad, so I'm going to mention that as the prime big evil against me.
Yeah, if she would actually address criticism, I would be largely impressed. And this is not addressing criticism. She is just talking about her side of what she sees.
Figuratively and literally concluded that I'm some kind of Disney villain who is personally responsible for the ongoing transformation of the gaming industry.
Wow. Ego, hello. She really misinterpreted what people are trying to say. I think the death threats just kept resounding.
But she's causing all the transformation. The mobile market has nothing to do with this.
It's me.
She is the cause of the mobile market and everything that has been going on.
The entire casual market, it must have been from her and her depiction of her castle, man with boobs, idealistic game that Jennifer Hale voiced. Ooh. Anyway.
Of course, I'm definitely not in charge of this cultural shift. No one person is. But in their delusion, they've decided to believe that if they take me out, all will return to normal. So for the last 2 years, they have viciously and aggressively come after me by any means necessary. These next couple of slides are pretty graphic. I've been attacked with a constant torrent of grotesque
I'm surprised she didn't say the word trigger warning.
Misogynist harassment, everything from gendered hate speech to weaponized pornography, where they superimpose my face on pornographic.
Weaponized pornography? What the hell is that?
I don't know. Maybe because they harass and thus assault her, and assault means weaponized.
Weaponized? Can an image
I need
be
the
weaponized?
vocabulary of this. I need the feminist vocabulary. Can somebody give me one?
No, don't ask for that. Please don't ask for that. Let's just keep it
I think my brain gets
images and then spam me with them. To bomb threats, rape threats, and death threats directed at me and my family and my colleagues. And there are ongoing investigations taking place for the worst of these crimes.
Okay, these are crimes, right? These are actual crimes. I haven't seen any public outcry over them. I don't know. We had some speaking. What was that? Arini did an interview or talked to a cop who didn't know.
But they're now saying that that everything was sent to the FBI, so the cop didn't have the information.
Okay, but what is the FBI going to do aside from track an IP? I mean, what's the investigation going to be? As soon as you tell someone, public or anything, oh, by the way, I'm being harassed, that guy is gone. He's long gone. And I don't know what the FBI is going to investigate or any police body is going to do. As soon as you make that information public, that guy's gone. So, good job, Anita, for telling everyone that you're being harassed. You're not really helping the cops out much, but yeah, good to tell.
So those are pretty clear and obvious forms of misogyny. Today, however,
what's with this word? Misogyny is the hatred of all women or women, not you. Okay, maybe that person hates you, but not all women. That's not misogyny.
Well, it's the 1984. We are now transforming our words to fit our narrative.
I'd like to talk to you about some of the more subtle forms of sexism that are not as obviously recognizable as the overt threats and slurs we saw a moment ago. Specifically, I'd like to focus on two strategies that these harassers have used in defaming me and my project: online impersonation and spreading conspiracy theories. I'm going to deconstruct my own experience to illustrate how this works in practice, but it's certainly not unique to me. The tactics of defamation are used as weapons to try and undermine the work and credibility of women in gaming and geek and tech-oriented subcultures. And for many women, including myself, slander and libel are the background radiation of our daily lives on the internet.
Background radiation, that's a science term. I know she's making a analogy, but please don't try and make me think that you know science. Anyway.
So, the first, impersonation. Impersonation is a favored tactic employed to try and discredit women, especially feminists, who are...
Yeah. Before we go on, I'm going to send you an image, Stefan. You can blast it over the video, which you're going to be doing on this second. And it shows that there have been times where she did that. She made a fake account to attack her so she could play victim.
She actually made a fake account?
Yes, I'll send you the image in a few moments.
Okay.
are often depicted as evil, man-hating feminazis. Because my work is straightforward, textual analysis delivered in a calm, analytical tone, and because I don't resemble that caricature, detractors often fabricate false quotes out of thin air in order to stereotype me as a more familiar villain. The creating of fake social media accounts on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook are common practice. The impersonation accounts steal and use my logos, my image, and my name to then post inflammatory or provocative statements. Let's look at a few examples. This very poorly photoshopped fake tweet was trying to imply that somehow I embezzled money from my Kickstarter funds for personal gain. This image was featured on Reddit, I think about a year ago, and quickly went viral, partially because it fits in nicely within this pre-existing sexist notion about women stealing from hardworking men in order to buy expensive shoes. Okay,
first off, this is a tactic that has been used by many other trolls online. I remember Thunderfoot. This happened to Thunderfoot, I think a year or two ago. Using the same logo, using very similar speech. This is not a sexist thing. This is not a misogynist thing. This is just a trolling thing. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, but also she includes sexist and a women stealing from men, not a women stealing from people.
Oh yes, of course. She has to say men because clearly a man. The troll was a man, of course.
No, but the men are giving her the money for her Patreon, Kickstarter, whatever it is. This is what she's implying here.
I really don't know where she's going with this, but let's just.
I'm still getting hate mail about this a year later. For the record, these are the only shoes I'd ever consider paying $1,000 for.
Gentlemen, I give you the long fall boot. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's expensive as hell. But check this out. We told this test subject to just go ahead and try to land on her head. She can't do it. Good work, Boots. So anyway, we're between banks right now. Just make those checks out to cash. Cave Johnson, we're done here.
So there's some Portal fans in here.
Okay, so she's just talking about Portal with a clip.
Okay, so another example
and
is a couple
no,
years ago I gave a talk at
no
DICE
black people there.
responsible for the Battlefield series, as well as one of my favorite games, Mirror's Edge. Any fans, Mirror's Edge? Yeah. This was a private event for employees only. However,
wasn't she consulting with EA to do something with Mirror's Edge too? Gee, I wonder why it's her favorite game.
Yes.
Saying that Mirror's Edge is misogynist because the control scheme is too hard for female gamers.
What?
Did she actually say that? I have no idea.
Yeah, she said that. That's just I think the guy who said that just made a joke. Or just, I know, his brain doesn't work, whoever said that. And I really don't know. But I mean, no, Mirror's Edge is not misogynist at all. It's about a female character who cares about her sister. And then goes safe by running around the city. And then you have even this achievement where you have not shot a single bullet throughout the entire game.
Well, if I remember the quote, it's about simplifying the control scheme and how, there's a button for duck and there's a button for jump, but she wants to, make it all one button. I think that's what the quote's saying. I just actually listened to the clip.
The ironic thing here is that not only did I never say that, but I actually have no problem with the game's control schemes, and apparently they do. Like the fake shoes tweet, this one has been widely distributed and accepted as fact in many corners of the internet. Again, even though it comes from 4chan, I receive regular hate mail about this every day. Or not every day, but often. Okay, here are two more ridiculous fake quotes. One is decrying the much-beloved gaming company Valve. I don't know.
Okay, she's just talking about herself here and fake stuff that was made about her, impersonating her, trying to make her look something else. Is that it? That's all this is?
Yes.
Really?
That's the entire goal. But throughout the entire minutes, he keeps saying like, "Oh my goodness, they are going after me," but just not talking about people with different views. Also, isn't it interesting how she cries about that she hates damsel in distress tropes, but goes playing damsel in distress this whole time?
Okay, well, if this is her spiel, let's just listen to it. I'm sure that she's going to get to a point eventually.
Who would believe this is true? Because that is so much more than 140 characters. Just saying. The other is stating that I believe murder is somehow not that bad, combined with a photo they stole from my personal Flickr account. So these are just a few examples, but what's important to understand is how quickly they become part of what is sometimes referred to as an information cascade. Information cascades occur when people rapidly repeat or share information from others without first verifying its validity. So falsehoods about me are initially pushed by detractors who use them to spam 4chan and Reddit as a way of provoking rage and rallying more people to join the crusade against me. As the disinformation spreads through social media, it takes on a life of its own. It's bouncing from Twitter to Facebook to Tumblr to YouTube and back again. Once the cascade reaches a critical mass, it no longer matters what the facts are, it becomes a viral meme.
Did she just sum up feminism?
Maybe a facet of feminism? There's so many flavors, I have no idea. It could be.
I think it's just, yeah. I think it's just the whole thing you're arguing the whole time about on Twitter, those people, I think that's what she's talking about right now.
It works both ways. Yeah, it could be the people who, actually believe the stuff that some of the stuff was fabricated and they believe it's true. But it's the same with people who watch her videos, I bet, and don't understand them. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, there's not a representation of women in gaming. And you're like, okay, is this a bad thing? Why? And that's as far as they go. They don't, oh, it's not representational. What do you want the representation to be? 50-50? 50-50 what? Is this a game about men's and women going to the bathroom and there has to be like this equal, enough time here, enough time there? What's the idea of the gameplay to involve women and to have women and to have men and why? Like these questions aren't being asked, and they're very important to not only the narrative context but the gameplay context. And if you don't ask these questions, these people aren't gamers. They don't know what they're talking about.
These hoaxes work to reinforce that folk demon narrative about me, right? The one that I mentioned earlier, because it's turning me into the embodiment of the most extreme, irrational stereotype of feminism possible. The fake quotes also gain traction in the information cascade because they play on and help rationalize pre-existing paranoid fears about feminist interlopers and women invading video games.
Okay, well, she believes in something called the patriarchy. She's a sex-negative feminist, and she doesn't seem to like any depictions of women in her analysis at all. I would say that's fairly extreme. Now, there's obviously more extreme versions of feminism. I can't say I don't know them all, but that's pretty bad. If I were to hear anyone like a PETA member, going on about, these horses in Red Dead Redemption are being victimized and killed. We can't have it's the wild frickin' West, buddy. Horses were a dime a dozen. They went through them, they died, you shot them, this is normal, this is history. You have to tell a story in the Wild West with horses.
Yeah, it's even worse nowadays. You know, there was this game, Kingdom something. It was in the medieval times, and they're exclaiming that there are not enough black and Asian people in there.
All right.
So yeah, it's going that way.
Racial, what's the word? Balancing, racial representation.
Racial diversity, and that's not enough in the medieval European time.
Oh God.
All of this becomes a part of the mythological canon of my villainy, supposedly proving that I really am as bad as they think, which then
What does mythological canon mean?
which then serves as justification for further and more extreme forms of harassment. Given the prevalence of these impersonation-style hoaxes, it might not come as a surprise for you to learn that there are also a number of internet conspiracy theories about me and my work floating around out there.
Yeah, this is going to be the part where everyone who makes a detailed analysis is a conspiracy theorist. Watch.
Now, when I say conspiracy theories, I'm talking full-on tinfoil hat, chemtrails, 9/11, truthers, birthers type conspiracy theories. It's the kind of delusion.
She just compared herself to 9/11.
I think she said that everyone who is conspiracy theorists are the same type of guys who say that the moon landing never happened.
Okay, I don't think did she actually say that? Just rewind. Actually, no. I want to keep going. This is going to take too long. Ugh.
Delusional belief subscribed to by those who are unable or unwilling to accept a changing reality.
Is this really about the reality of gaming, or is it about her? I really don't think there's that many people going, oh, Anita Sarkeesian is changing gaming.
So, conspiracy theory number 1. Anita Sarkeesian bleached her skin to appear more white, and she learned to smile like a white person in order to become popular. There's more. Then she used sophisticated neurolinguistic programming techniques to brainwash members of...
Is this really necessary? Every crackpot idea that she came across?
Well, if she has needs something to talk about to make herself more victim, I mean, she cannot go to, I don't know, talk about Irini's videos, how the criticism against her is bad. No, she of course has to play victim here.
This
and
is
of course, she has to
ridiculous.
go to the
This
case
is
to play
stuff.
victim.
This is stuff you just ignore. This is ridiculous. Like, she's really like, oh, someone thinks I'm an alien. Someone thinks I'm a cigar. It's like, what? Who cares?
the gaming industry into seeing sexism where none really exists. This one comes courtesy of an obsessive fellow fond of ranting into his webcam while sporting a bathrobe. He has made over 60 YouTube rants about me.
There we go, Jordan Owen.
She just made fun of Jordan Owen.
But
The most vocal critic, the guy who spends hours, like he has really long videos. I only saw one that was really long, but the other ones, he spends so much time deconstructing her. And he is extremely rational. And he gets emotional maybe 1-2% of the time. You know, he'll go on a little rant because he just can't believe how crazy this person is. And
the worst part of this all is she doesn't even address one single point he made. She just says, "Oh my goodness, look at this dweeb, how much time he puts into this."
You know, if someone spent this much time dedicated to me and he was rational and logical and well thought out and put hours and hours of his day just to do so, I might watch a video or two and go, maybe he might have some good points. Maybe I'll write them down and think about them. You know, that hasn't happened yet. I've only had one major video online YouTube critic, which I did respond to eventually, but you know, criticism is key. If you cannot respond to criticism, if you cannot listen, you have no business critiquing anything. You have no right to. It's like saying, I can dish it out, but I can't take it for whatever reason. And to just say, "Oh, look at this funny guy in the bathrobe." Excuse me, we're supposed to take this woman seriously?
I have no idea. But also, yeah, like you say, man, like she doesn't care a single thing about evidence, or just any kind of voice or any kind of concern from any kind of direction. Just rambles on about how women are bad, being misrepresented in the games media or whatever, without any factual basis. And then anything that comes her way, she only picks out everything that is being can be counted as harassment, plays the victim role, and then denies every kind of actual criticism because she's harassed, so she doesn't have to do it. That's not the critic. That's just a farce.
Yeah, I've seen Penn Jillette get criticism over the years, and he just doesn't even look at it, or rather, he does look at it, but he doesn't make it public. He doesn't care. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to be disingenuous. I'm not going to put these people out in public and shame them. That would be emotionally disingenuous, intellectually disingenuous. Like, he wouldn't even do that. But because Anita is, as we've seen, a victim and professional about it, this is her modus operandi. This is what she does to get attention, to get money, to get sympathy. Oh my God, people disagree with me, and there's a bunch of crazy guys out there who want to kill me and rape me and blah, 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 blah. In email, in Twitter. Like, I haven't gotten that, or you haven't gotten that, or whoever online. We've gotten that since we were growing up. This is a normal thing. It's an extreme thing, it's an emotional thing, and you treat it exactly as that, a juvenile reaction. And you throw it away. That's it. She can't do that. She collects them, apparently, and throws them out and says, oh, look, this one said this, and oh, this one said that, as if she has a teacher to report to who's going to give her sympathy, and they could all shame the boy who said something cruel.
Yeah, it feels really like some sort of, that group of girls at high school who are queens of everything, and then they get, then everyone who goes up against them, they cherry pick their actions and then report to them by the teacher, so the ones get disciplined. That is what it feels like.
It's about me, and some of those diatribes clock in at over 4 hours. Yeah, I wish I was kidding.
So what? He has a lot to say. Probably because you're so wrong. And there's lots of things, like, mind you, Jordan is a very articulate, intelligent fellow, so he has a lot to talk about. Again, I saw one that was about 2 hours long. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with listening to someone and criticizing them for good or ill? It's a free country. You can do that. He's not a weird, creepy dude obsessing over her every thing she makes, because it's pretty bad. I've only seen one of her videos, so I can't say. Is it worth paying attention to? I didn't think so 2 years ago, but apparently now it's mainstream. Everyone knows Anita Sarkeesian.
My family is from Iraq. I'm proud to be Armenian. There are some very pernicious racial assumptions contained in the idea that I'm falsely portraying myself as white, though it falls under the broader umbrella of painting me as deceptive, that I am concealing dangerous truths about myself that need to be exposed.
Actually, that's what she's doing. She's concealing certain facts about it that need to be exposed. She just admitted it.
Who really cares what her race is? We care about what she's trying to say.
Yeah.
In this case, my olive skin and my Middle Eastern roots. As for the charge of brainwashing, I'm sorry to say there are no subliminal mind control blipverts embedded in my educational video essays, but I do like to think that my rhetorical arguments are pretty good.
Compared to what? The dozens of criticisms you've never replied to? How do you know they're good, Anita? They're your own opinions. Okay, you're biased because they're yours. But have you weighed them against other opinions? Have you listened to all the evidence or all the other explanations of your lack of evidence, of your jumping to conclusions, of your interpretation of the third person effect, of getting Borderlands 2 wrong, of all you have to do, Borderlands 2 is not under the damsel in distress trope. It's not there in tvtropes.org, yet she brought it up. How could she screw that up? All she does is go to tvtropes.org, then goes to YouTube, downloads a Let's Play, and talks about it. And she screwed it up.
Yeah, I have also no idea how that's even possible.
Yeah, it was the character Angel. She thought Angel was a damsel in distress because you had to save her. No, she was integral to the plot. She had this whole point for being there. It was her plan to save this. I'm not going to go into that. That's a huge discussion, but it's like she's not listening. She's just, oh, me, this is me. There's a guy online and he said some stuff, and oh, that's obsessive. He's crazy. He's a gamer. He has an opinion, and he has a strong one. That's all. He has his own life. He doesn't like bullshit, and he spends time talking about it. That's all. That's all he's doing.
Thank you. So this one is clearly ridiculous, but that's just the more hilarious tip of the iceberg, which leads us into some less funny and more harmful conspiracy theories built on a foundation of victim blaming and deep-seated misogyny. Conspiracy theory number 2. Anita Sarkeesian is not a real gamer or even a real feminist. She's actually a con artist who fakes and orchestrates her own harassment in order to gain sympathy, which she uses to scam people into giving her money.
That about sums it up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, over this, I'm now saying you need to put the Sargon of Akkad video that the debunking in Sarkeesian under 1 minute, and then just put the text. Yeah, pretty much. All right, let's go.
It is kind of funny because it's so ridiculous. This is by far the most popular theory and takes one of 2 forms. One is Anita provokes the harassment on purpose by trolling and tricking the poor innocent kids on 4chan into harassing and threatening her. Version 2 is similar but takes it a step further. Anita fakes the threats and harassment she receives on a regular basis, either by sending these threats to herself via sock puppet accounts or by enlisting an army of feminists to do it for her.
Yes, we have proof of that. I'm sending that to Stefan in a few moments. He can put this all over the video.
Where is that army? Seriously.
They're cheering for being her army that's doing this for her?
Yeah.
Is that
I think the armies he's referring to is the ones he asked to weaponize. Or something.
The weaponization of Twitter accounts or something.
Yeah, that's our army.
So these scenarios are patently ridiculous, of course. I've been playing games since I was 5 years old, and I have never posted anything on 4chan in my life, nor will I ever, nor should any of you.
Doesn't 4chan have an LGBT community? Like a whole section dedicated to bisexuals and whatnot?
Yes.
Okay, so she just said a whole bunch of people who are maybe sexually deviant or different in some way?
Yeah, but she doesn't understand what 4chan is. Listen, I'm not a fan of 4chan, but the thing is about 4chan, it doesn't matter if you're male, female, white, black, Hispanic, purple, green, if you're a Christian or if you're an Islam or if you're an atheist or an... It doesn't really matter. Everyone is seen as an anon and a faggot. Everyone is a faggot, and that's about it. So they really don't care about your background. It's more like, I hate you all equally. That's just 4chan.
Well, I'm quite sure there are some communities in 4chan that are homosexual or bisexual or asexual or any other derivative thereof. And she's telling them not to do that. Don't ever go to 4chan. It's just not good.
Because honestly, the site is really just a cyber cesspool functioning as an incubator for misogyny.
Whoa!
That's a nice claim. Did the LGBT board say that?
I don't know. I don't frequent the board, but she just said the entire site is a cesspool for misogyny. Everything. Okay, lady. I don't know too much about 4chan, but I think you might be a little wrong on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as a side note, 4chaners do have a fondness for impersonating me as a way to troll each other into harassing me further. So this is an example of someone posting on 4chan pretending to be me, and they stole a photo from my Flickr account to do it.
Don't people on 4chan impersonate everyone? everyone we
it's
can ever think of.
Yeah, isn't that a picture of before she made her videos? I seem to remember that when she was talking about, like, she started her YouTube channel, and before she went to Kickstarter, she was starting her Kickstarter. This was one of the posts that was there, and she was like, obviously this is an old photo of hers. She's doing a selfie, I think. I don't know the date. I can't quite see, but I was under the impression that either someone went to 4chan to get attention going for her project or her channel, and that was how she got well known, or at least known more than she currently, because I don't think she was very popular when she started her YouTube channel. And I'm kind of, I'm wondering when she's going to talk about her 2010 presentation where she says she's not a fan of video games, even though in this presentation she said she's been a fan since she was 5. So
Yeah, the Sargon of Akkad video talked about that, how that's it contradicts each other. That he had to learn a lot about video games in order to make the videos.
and these are the people, people are listening to this kind of person who has to learn about video games. All right.
Okay, so remember those graphic rape and death threats I showed earlier? After I shared a few of these death threats on Twitter, this is how a surprisingly large number of gamers reacted. Beyond the shocking inability to show any empathy for women who are being harmed, we see an aggressive denial of women's experiences.
Yeah, in one of those tweets a few seconds earlier, one guy says, "We can see it's fake. The gray outline is not correct. This is modified."
I want to know, how has she been harmed by these tweets? How has she been harmed by these emails? I mean, have they scared her off? I mean, she went to the police, or she left her house once, so there must have been some validity to that tweet that she thought she was in danger. So I guess that's official, right? She believed she was in danger, she left. Okay, that is one form of harm. One out of how many? I don't know. I would imagine she would have gotten used to it by now, or said, "Oh wow, another form of hate mail." The more times an experience happens to someone, the less effective it becomes, the less emotional, the impact of the emotion becomes a lot less. Like if you keep going on the same roller coaster over and over again, it's going to be not as exciting. So I would imagine after 2 years, she would have gotten used to this by now. And this is no big deal for her. It's, oh, another death threat. Oh, another rape threat.
Apparently not. Just it. Anyway, let's...
Notice the paranoid language of false flag operations, which are commonly found in other political conspiracy theories. It is sometimes easier to believe unlikely or even ludicrous distortions of reality than it is to abandon or change a deeply held perspective. These theories are born out of a desire to explain away contradictions that don't fit neatly into these gamers' pre-existing worldview that gaming is and should continue to be the domain of young heterosexual men.
Okay, wait a second. How is she tying this into my game should be for males, which it is actually, the Call of Duties and whatnot.
Here, one of my teachers is bisexual. And I study game design, and I know gamers who are, I know a lot of students who are female. I know a lot of students who are bisexual, gay or lesbian or whatever. There is no struggle for gender or other types of role to get them in games. What else are you talking about?
How does this relate to giving her death threats though? Because their worldview of what the next title EA pumps out is not going to be as masculine as they want?
Oh yeah, we sent her death threats because we don't want more women in we don't want other sexual orientations in games. That really connects. Yeah.
That's I don't know where she got that. I really don't. I wish I did, because I don't know where she's going with this.
Let's continue.
The perpetrators do not see themselves as perpetrators at all. Instead, they see themselves as noble warriors fighting to save gaming from all those who dare suggest it ever change or grow up or mature.
all these people who say games need to mature and grow up, then okay, if you have the child that matures into an adult, what is the transformation they want? From which perspective?
I'm just not understanding where she's going. I don't know what the end result of this inquiry is.
There would also every time say, yeah, games need to mature. Blah, blah, blah. That's the narrative that's been pumped out for 5 years already, and I have seriously still zero clue on what they mean by it.
Yeah, like we talk about the narrative or storytelling in games a lot, how we want them to be elevated to something that resembles a great drama or a great action movie or whatever.
Yeah, combining gameplay and story to create drama, like in Deus Ex Revolution, where you have to rescue Malek. You know that scene.
Right. Yeah, we want that sort of evolution and maturity in stories. That has nothing to do with gender roles. That has nothing to do with males and females and the representation in games and their patterns over the. You could say this about any genre or movie or book or whatever. It has nothing to do with the quality of the book, unless you're specifically writing about an exploitative movie like a B movie, like blaxploitation or B thrillers. Where the violence is over the top and it's supposed to, you see all these body counts on the ground. That's the point. That would be the point of those movies. So they're not supposed to be mature. I don't know. Again, I don't know where she's going with this. I don't know what the end result of what this talk is. I don't know what the end result of her videos are. I really don't know. I'm just like 2 years ago I saw her first video. I was like, what is this? Why is this? This is wrong. And then I closed my video and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go play a game. Now this is a mainstream thing and we're listening to this woman and I still don't know what she's talking about.
But you know what the worst part of it all is? We can now vote for her that she's the most influential person in games.
Really?
She's always with PewDiePie and everything.
What has she done?
And guess where the list comes from? Something that has been connected with people on the Game Journal Pros list. I don't remember which. Yes,
that's a Gamergate thing. She's a blip on the radar in Gamergate. She's the only people who care about her that because Gamergate is around are all the feminists who might have boyfriends or girlfriends that play games and they go, "Ooh, I know a feminist in gaming. It's Anita Sarkeesian, and I'm showing it to my kids and blah blah blah." And you're like, "Oh God." I mean, maybe that's where she's getting her influence with the educations, with the institutions that want to show her stuff because they think she's hip and mainstream and she has social issues to talk about gender equality or some nonsense in a fictitious world that somehow relates to reality. I'm like, what? I really don't know where she's going, but let's just continue.
I have the same issue nowadays. I'm starting a video series about all the crap articles that are being talked about toys. It's the same issue, but then in a different different industry. Also with people who one perspective from a professor of social justice.
There's a what?
Professor of social justice.
Are you serious?
Yes. And she has something to say about Lego because, there are not enough female characters in Lego.
Oh, that's bullshit. Are you serious?
Yes, in my newest video, they're talking about it. Oh yeah, and also because there were those shiny, the shiny pink, purple things you hang up for 5-month-old babies. So they can play around with it. Yeah, that's introducing them to a misogynistic and patriarchal culture, but because saying that pink and purple is good for them. 3 months and up.
Really?
Yay!
Okay, we're gonna keep going.
Conspiracy theories and impersonation hoaxes can often seem inconsequential or trivial, but they have the potential to shape and influence perceptions of reality and blur the lines between true and false. The constant flood of distortions has a snowball effect wherein bits and pieces of disinformation can become surprisingly sticky. They slowly become accepted as part of the larger cultural myth around me in ways that shape public perception.
Did she just talk about social justice?
She said there's a snowball effect between misconstrued ideas or made-up ideas and how they construct a myth about her that just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and this.
If you say if you exclude the part by me, it's just about social justice. Lots of misinformation that keep bigger and bigger, and then somehow accepted as normal information.
I don't know. Apparently, she's some sort of figurehead for feminism in games, I assume, these days. So maybe that goes along with social justice, I assume. Maybe. I haven't seen the figures. I don't even know where we're going to get figures for that to compare it, what she was 2 years ago, or what this even means. I don't know what she represents. I really don't. If she represents a bunch of patterns that have to do with women, I'm like, what does that mean? Is it bad? Is it good? Does it cause us to think of women that way? Does it not? Does it want us to help women? Does it want to hurt? Like, what does it mean? I want to know, because people are listening to this lady, and I still can't figure her out.
Okay, let's get going.
And these theories and hoaxes pour over into every aspect of the harassment campaign against me. For every bit of harassment, every doxing attempt, every attack with pornographic images, with every death or rape threat I receive, you'll find these same type of conspiracy theories springing up in response. Each new accusation of false flags or faking threats and abuse building on the last one in a circular feedback loop. For these detractors, it is easier to believe that I'm a skin-bleaching, mind-controlling, video game-hating scam artist involved in a masterful long con than it is to believe that the tide is turning in gaming and that larger numbers of developers and fans are challenging the sexist status quo and embracing the ideas and critiques expressed in my work and the work of many other women doing the same.
There are other women doing
criticism.
There are other women doing the same thing as her?
Yeah, but not men. Apparently.
Okay, so only women like her are also doing feminist critiques of video games, and they're challenging game developers?
Yeah, but not males, because males don't do that. Apparently.
Again, I don't really see the issue here. If let's say tomorrow all the new games that are coming out are like 90% female, like main characters, side characters, female themes like pregnancy and relationships and blah-de-blah. Who cares? Whoop-de-doo. We're going to be shooting a lot of women now. We're going to be talking to a lot of women. We're going to be, I don't know, trying on pink dresses on our characters because we can customize them. Whoop-de-doo. What's the problem? I don't see the issue here. If this, if we reverse the gender roles and are guys going to play those games? Probably not. They're going to try them because they like games in general. I mean, I know lots of people who will try anything. They'll try any game. They'll read any book. They'll watch any movie. It doesn't matter to them. And if they doesn't have the stuff they want to see, they'll just go elsewhere. Like the genre for male games or she calls chauvinistic games with macho guys killing each other. That isn't going away. Neither is Diner Dash. Neither is Candy Crush, dress up. Those aren't going away. There is a marketplace for everyone, and if she can make another female developer or a developer who has feminine qualities wants to make a game that caters to the role-playing female demographic that has strong female characters. Well, we have that too, just not in abundance, like with Mass Effect.
We have also things like the Wii Fit or the Kinect Animals.
Right. Yeah.
Anything like that. Yeah.
I really don't see the problem. I just see that gaming has mostly been for males. That's true, but that's not a bad thing. That's the marketplace. That's how the marketplace works.
Yeah, and just like fashion is more popular with ladies.
Yes, exactly. There's women's magazines, there's men's magazines, there's something for
Maybe to
everyone.
go in response that we are now on the century upon all their long fictions of us in all the fashion magazines. Oh my goodness, it's a six pack. Oh, that is so misandry. That is such a stereotype.
Well, yeah, that's something she might say because she does not like the depiction of sexualized objects, which happen to be people. uh, in anything. Apparently, we can't have that. We can't have sexy people in our games. You can't look at any character from Game of Thrones sexually, even though all the actors, male and female, are gorgeous. That's why you generally get into acting. You're very good looking, and you could say a few lines. Oh, they can act. Ooh, they look like a pretty boy. Okay, this is how life works. This is not going to change. There is no grand shift. There's no paradigm of the genders in an art form. It's whatever the artists say they want to make, and if their producer thinks, hey, if we have some bisexual romances, we're going to make 5% more income, they're going to do it. It's really that simple. They're selling stuff. It's a narrative. That's it. Ugh.
Let's just.
Conspiracy theories are often driven by an underlying fear of authority. This particular paranoia about feminists taking over video games is further fueled by a deep underlying distrust of women. There is a prevailing feeling among an alarming number
Or
of men
just
that women
her.
with any degree of perceived power, success, or influence do not deserve their positions in male-dominated fields, and that therefore they must be using manipulative or duplicitous means to gain and hold on to those positions.
Wait a second. Who the hell has ever said, damn, there's a woman in gaming, we got to get rid of her?
Didn't we have back in the 80s, before the crash even happened, did we have that awesome lady at Atari who made entire products on her own?
Yeah, there was a female
Carol
in
Shaw.
Atari. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was really good. We had Roberta Williams. We had Jane Jensen in the adventure games.
I think I have 4 female teachers for business management, for concept design, for other, for modeling ones, and for other stuff that's going on.
even in my field with web development, there are some women in developers, but they're not as many as men. And hey, why not? I don't really care who the hell I'm working with or if they're male or female. Why would I? Who cares? What does this have to do with anything?
Yeah, I worked for 30 weeks under a woman. That was 2 years ago. That was for my last internship for my previous education. And really, I didn't care. Nobody at work cared that she was a woman. We all respected her.
I'm going with the understanding that she thinks all these trolls are, adolescent, pre-adolescent kids, boys, I assume, who are just trying to get a rise out of her, and they're saying ridiculous shit. And she actually believes it. I can only guess this because I don't think anyone could take any of this crap seriously. Like really, I do not believe she's that dumb. I think she can identify a lie and an exaggeration and a childish comment because she's gotten thousands. I'm sure she's gotten thousands of them over the years, and she can identify what they are. And if she can't, then she's really spinning a yarn that just furthers whatever's in her brain of what the world is when it actually isn't. I don't know. I don't know where she's going. She's telling us there's people hating on her. I think she's correct. There are people who are hating on her. I don't think she's listening.
Or maybe she isn't, she's just neglecting it. Just deny the evidence from the other side so you can just push your own agenda along.
It has to be something like that. There has to be a reason why she's doing this. No one is this dumb. Especially when you talk about these things for years and you notice these patterns. Like, if she can see patterns in games the way she does with females, she can see patterns in emails. She can see patterns in people's behavior and understand, hey, maybe this guy isn't a complete idiot. Maybe there's some truth to what he's saying. Oh, he thinks I'm taking things out of context. Why is that? Like, she has to have at least thought that and said, gee, maybe I shouldn't talk about my critics because they can blow me out of the water. Because I have critically thought about my own words, and I could be wrong. That's, I think, what's going on here. She's really scared of being labeled or seen as being incorrect. And she's not revealing it. So everything is negative, everything is childish, everything is hate.
Yeah.
You know, it's just ridiculous. I think this person is, just from this, I mean, I don't know too much about her. I've seen one video. I just I cannot fathom this. If she's this educated and has been around this long.
Well, you have never seen her master's degree. That paper, I will just give you the link so you can put it in the comment in the description.
Okay.
So, in the annotations, you know, at the end of the master thesis, you can see all the diagrams and everything. She just labels men and women. All women get positive treats, and the men get all the negative ones.
That doesn't sound right at all.
I have no idea how this ever got past green light, really.
All right,
Anyone
well,
on the board just accepted it.
I do know she went to school for communications, I think, at York. I think it was.
Yeah.
I know she has 2 degrees. I think one of them was communications. And I'm not going to talk ill of communication degrees, but going to York, because I went to York, it's a very liberal-minded place. I got the hell out of there, but I can guess the mindset of those kinds of people in the arts, in the fine arts, and they're nice people, but they're way out there. So
We'll see.
I can get a feeling. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
When women experience harassment and harm, we are blamed for the abuse we receive and regularly told that we were either asking for it or inventing it entirely. Again, what I've described to you today is not unique to me and my experience. Every day, many women voicing their opinions online deal with a similar flood of slander and defamation designed to undermine their careers, their credibility, their resolve, and their confidence.
Same
Who
with
was
men.
that? Yeah, who was that guy again who said that all games were violent and that we kicked him the hell out of the industry? What was his name again? Thompson, I think.
Yeah,
He
everyone,
cannot get the same treatment.
every journalist, every gamer hated this guy for obvious reasons. He was lying. He didn't have any science behind him. He thought we were all murderers because we've been simulated to kill people. And now it's sexism. Now it's feminism.
But since
And-
it is feminist, you cannot talk bad about it, because if you talk bad about feminism, you're immediately a bad person, by definition. And that's what we've seen here over the past 2 months. You say something against a feminist, oh, that means you do not agree with their liberties. That means you're part of the patriarchy. That actually about sums up the last 2 months.
I've been constantly arguing on Twitter. It's just been a nightmare. These people are you cannot talk to them. Anyway, we're almost done. Let's see what we're doing.
So I leave you with one simple thought. One of the most radical things you can do is to actually believe women when they tell you about their experiences.
Was that on the screen? Listen and believe. Is that what that said? Is that like a religious sort of connotation? It's like just listen to women and believe them. Just nod your head and say, yes, you're right. Everything you said is true. Is that what she's advocating? Because the last time I talked to anyone, I do listen, and then I contemplate whether or not what they're saying to me is bullshit or not. And if it is, I ask for proof. It's not hard to ask for proof. You know, show me the email you're being harassed, and then say, why can't you block that email? Why can't you just not listen? Like, these are sticks and stones. Or sorry, I'm sorry, that was the opposite of what I wanted to say. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. This is a thing we've learned when we were kids. You know, email doesn't bother me. I have a YouTube channel where I have like how the counter, it says when you get a comment, it'll Goes pip, 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 goes 1, 2, 3. It's up to 100. It's been that way for months. I don't have time to go through every single comment. I wish I did. I pretty much just click all the ones that are spam and say yes to everything. If something catches my eye, I'll reply to it. If I get a pop-up in an email, I'll reply to it. But I listen, and then I go, is there any value to that? I don't go, oh, I agree with you, everything, just because you said it. No, no one I've ever met, well, not everyone, but any critical mind who hears a story, who hears something that doesn't quite add up, says, wait a second, where are you coming from? Where are you getting this? Where's your evidence? How do you know that? This is basic question. This is not even skepticism. This is basic data gathering. Where'd you get that? Where'd that come from? Can you please show me?
And also, isn't it hilarious how she says that only women should be listened to and be completely believed, but men never, because only men can lie or something.
Yeah, I've never gotten death threats. No, never. My email inbox isn't filled with, well, not recently, but
let's see if I got one. No, not now, but I got one last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the third one since the beginning of Gamergate. I don't know.
Yeah, Gamergate is hilarious for the stories that have been coming out, and all we're doing is just boycotting sites and talking to
the other advertisers.
Yeah, that's it. We're just saying, okay, guys, these people are saying some really serious dumb stuff, and advertisers are going, you're right. We're going to stop selling with these guys.
And then then there was Intel. Intel has revoked their advertising on Kama Sutra, so now they're the most misogynistic company ever, even if they have a female CEO.
There's a Sears I heard today is pulling out as well on some sites.
Yeah, I've also heard rumors about that. And there's the last one for Kama Sutra, that's Autodesk from 3ds Max and Maya. So everyone is now bailing them like crazy.
These people, they're not just listening, they're going, oh my God, these people are hardcore feminists. We better get the hell out of here. So they did their homework. They didn't just go, oh, Gamergate, we better believe you guys. No. Who's our clientele? Oh dear, it's everyone. Okay, we got to listen to figure out what's going on. They do some homework. They look at the sites. They read the articles. They go, oh my God, these guys are nuts or whatever. We better pull out. It's not just because a bunch of people said, please pull out. It's because, please read this article. What do you think? What's going on? These people are pushing an agenda. This is not what Intel is about. You shouldn't be affiliated with these people. Intel goes, yes, I agree. We've done our homework. We're going. Same with Sears, same with whoever else is going to come by. This is scary stuff. She's advocating a lack of evidence. Belief. This is a religion. She is a cult of personality, essentially, in a literal sense as well as the personal sense. This is not good. I even if I agreed with everything she said, I'd be like, whoa, what are you talking about? Slow down. Just don't do this. Whatever you're doing, just keep your mouth shut.
Also, isn't it hilarious how these people are so advocating for female rights and everything, but in their way, they're also saying like every woman who is against this is, has internal misogyny or is just a traitor. That's also
a traitor to what? Their gender?
I guess so.
Oh, this is really scary. This is why I've been paying attention. This is why I've been writing blog posts about Anita Sarkeesian. I would not have done this 2 years ago. This is apparently a big thing. Feminism is apparently a big thing. I don't know why. I don't know why she's important. I wish I knew what her point was. I'm going to watch some more of her videos and hopefully pay attention or hopefully understand listen and understand, listen and try to decipher what the hell she's saying. I'll probably make a video about this. If it becomes a bigger thing, I might do a whole series, but I think there's been plenty of more people out there on YouTube that have done a lot of work. The Amazing Atheist, Thunderfoot, Mundane Matt, Jordan Owen, of course.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch. Yeah.
Sargon of Akkad.
Yeah, he's been good. There's quite a lot of people over the years that have done this. And I don't think I'd really, having my, like what I do, I'd go line by line and just take everything apart. I don't think I need to do that. I think if we just get like one or two things she says, should be more than enough. I don't know. If you guys want me to do something more, just say in the comments. I will do more. It's really up to you guys. I don't think this woman is worth our time. I still don't think she's worth our time. But apparently this is a big deal. So please tell me in the comments what you want to see next. Do you want to focus more on games? I'm still doing my Deus Ex stuff. Or should I start going to Gamergate stuff? I don't know. Again, please leave your comments. I'd like to find out. Let's keep going.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're good. We're done.
Got it.
Ooh. That was a bit scary. This is apparently an academic. She knows her stuff. She was rambling on about conspiracy theories. She was reading mail, which has no value, and trying to she made some points about I didn't say this, I didn't say that. That's good. It's always nice to clear the air, but nothing about criticism, nothing about her points, nothing about what she's trying to do. I still don't know what she's trying to do. What's her goal? If she's just a commentator, what's the problem? What is the issue? I don't know. Are games making us sexist? I don't think so. I don't feel sexist. Maybe if you're a child and you play a game like Duke Nukem, maybe.
Yeah, that's also interesting part to say like games are sexist, but what's their proof? What have they made some sort of we're following a couple of kids through 5 or 6 years or something, and some were allowed by their parents and some weren't allowed by their parents to play certain games, and then we just looked up and see how sexist they've gotten, and then also took the other things into consideration. No, just games make you sexist because I say so.
And plus, how do you gauge sexism? Is it what they say, what they do? Like, how do you gauge that? How like, take a guy playing all the Grand Theft Autos for, I don't know, 3 years, observe him every freaking day, and then on his 4th year, you go, okay, what do you think about women? Oh, they're beautiful, blah, blah, blah. I think they're whores, blah, blah, like whatever. Like, how do you gauge this? How do you test for this? What's your control group? What's your error range? What are you looking for? What are you avoiding? I want to know. I really do, because this is apparently something she believes in, and I don't see the validity of it. I don't see why I should spend so much time on this. So anyway, thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Maybe it was her Kickstarter. Did she know she gets the money for it? That she's really a con artist? That may be a reason.
I don't really care how much money she made. I don't really see the Kickstarter issue as an issue. People threw money at her. That's up to the people. Whether they got what they paid for, I don't know the stretch goals. I don't know the tiers. I'm assuming the people at the lower tiers didn't get what they wanted because she's not finished doing her videos. Like if they were promised something, I have no idea. So, yeah, I mean, this is really not something I'm interested in. But if this keeps going on, we see this woman a month later or so rambling on about who knows. I'm probably going to have to make a video about it because this is getting annoying.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, if someone encourages me, I might do more, but I think I'm done for this week with Anita and hopefully the rest of the year. Let's just hope and pray. So everyone, have a great night. Thank you for watching, and
I'll see you guys all later. Just leave comments below if you have anything to say. If you have
tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you want to see. My next video is going to be about Deus Ex, and then I'll start wrapping that up and doing the next stuff. So Have a great night, everybody. Thank you very much for watching, and take it easy.
Good.